Hello again, everybody. We are going to continue reading the Bailey School Kids Adventure book. We are reading Gavels Don't Scoop Ice Cream, and we left off at chapter 4, which is called Bailey City Spy. The next morning, Liza, Howie, Eddie, and Melody met under the giant oak tree on the Bailey School playground. I stayed up an hour past my bedtime, and I still didn't finish all my homework, Liza complained. Howie shrugged. It wasn't that hard. Maybe I could help you. What homework? Eddie asked. Eddie, Lizzie scowled, you'll never get out of third grade if you don't do your homework. That means you'll be stuck with a vampire teacher for the rest of your life. Melody warned him. She pointed across the playground to Mrs. Jeepers, who was walking towards the school. Mrs. Jeepers wore a polka dot dress and had long red hair. The sun glistened off the green pin that she always wore at her throat. It was a brooch most kids were sure it was magic. Mrs. Jeepers doesn't scare me, Liza said, but that new ice cream worker at Burger Doodle does. It's creepy having a spy in Bailey City. Scout is not a spy, Eddie said. After all, there isn't much to spy on around here. Maybe she's up here to meet with another spy, Howie said slowly. What are you talking about? Melody asked. There aren't any Bailey City spies. Then why is Miss Jeepers talking into a tape recorder too? Liza asked. Liza pointed across the playground. Mrs. Jeepers had stopped in the shadows of the school building. She stared at the four friends under the oak tree. She talked into a tape recorder that looked exactly like the one that Scout had used the night before. You can't believe Mrs. Jeepers is a spy too, Melody said. Teachers are too busy grading math papers to spy. It is strange that her tape recorder is exactly like Scout's, Liza told them. Eddie interrupted his friends. Just a minute, he said. My shoe is ringing. He slipped off his shoe and held it up to Liza's ear. It's a super spy channel for Liza. They want to know if they'd like what it's like to have They want to know what it is like to have a full head of hair. Liza batted away Eddie's stinky sneaker. Make jokes if you want to, Liza said, but I think there is something strange happening in Bailey City. Tell her she's being silly, Melody said to Howie. Howie didn't say a word. His face was white and his hands shook as he hurried to pull the book from his backpack. I do have something to say, Howie told his friends, but I have a feeling you're not going to like it. Chapter 5, Spies for the Living Dead. You're absolutely right, Eddie said. I don't want to hear anything except my foot kicking the soccer ball. You won't be hearing that after school, Melody warned, because you have to stay after to finish your math homework. No way, Eddie grumbled. I plan to do another doodle gum shake after school. Howie shook his head. You might change your mind when you hear what I found out when I was researching, he told Eddie. Let me guess, Eddie said. You found out there's something scary about the kids who do research for fun. No, Howie said. Then you're not as smart as I thought you were, Eddie laughed. Everybody knows normal kids don't do research unless they have to. Well, Howie told Eddie, I had to because it was a matter of life and death. Since when is research a matter of life or death? Melody asked. Since Mrs. Jeepers became our teacher, Howie told her. I was trying to find out about vampires when I stumbled across something. It's right here in this book. Howie held up his heavy book with a tattered cover. He opened a book to a bookmark, and then he read in a voice so low his friends had to crowd close just to hear. In the world of the undead, Howie read, vampires depend on help from Gavels to survive. Half dead, half living, Gavels travel the earth searching for perfect homes where families of vampires can live safely. The Gavels' lives are full of sorrow, and they are rarely known to smile. Without these trustworthy spies, vampires would be in serious danger. Howie stopped reading and looked at his friends in the eyes. Doesn't this prove it? He said. It proves your brain has turned into a banana split, Eddie kidded. Eddie's right, Melody said. What does any of this have to do with us? Weren't you listening, Howie said. Scout said she's looking for the perfect house for a family. Just then, Liza screamed, Oh my gosh, she said. You're telling me that Scout is a vampire spying ghoul? Chapter 6, Easter Bunny. A spy for Mrs. Jeepers, Melody asked. Sure, Eddie teased. Scout is a spy for Mrs. Jeepers, and I'm a little bunny, foo-foo. Melody giggled. I guess that makes Liza the Easter Bunny. No, Eddie said, that makes Liza crazy. Howie slammed his book shut. I think Liza makes perfect sense. It may be perfect sense if you are a jelly bean, but not if you're a normal everyday kid, Eddie argued. Every time anyone is just a little bit different, you guys turn them into a monster. Melody shook her head. If that were true, we would have put you in a cage a long time ago. Ha ha, Eddie sneered. The fact remains that Scout is just a strange ice cream worker, not a ghoul. Are you willing to bet your life on that? Liza asked. Sure, Eddie said. Why not? Then let's go back to Burger Doodle after school and we'll see what we can find out about Scout, Liza said. All right, Eddie said. You're on. After school, the kids ordered one more Doodle Gum shakes at Burger Doodle. Scout made their shakes, but she never smiled at them. Just like the first time, Scout made a sundae for herself, complete it with blood red topping. She slurped it down, dribbling red liquid down her chin. Let's get this over with, Eddie gripped. I want to play. What about our spelling homework? Howie asked. Shouldn't you do that first? I should, Eddie said with a smile, but I'm not going to. Liza rolled her eyes and took a sip of her shake. Eddie made a loud slurping noise as he drained his cup dry. He then burped and folded his arms in front of his chest. That's gross, Liza told him. Eddie pointed to Scout. I'm not half as gross as her. The kids looked at Scout. Her bowl covered her face, and she licked it with her tongue to get the last of the red topping. I wonder what that red stuff is, Melody said. Haven't you people ever heard of strawberry syrup? Eddie asked. Lisa frowned. That doesn't look like strawberry syrup to me. But, Howie said, pointing out the window, that definitely looks like trouble. Thank you guys all for tuning in tonight to hear those 3 chapters. We will be back again next Tuesday to read chapters 7 to 9. Have a good night, everybody.